All right, I'm here with Broken Circle. How we doing, guys?
Good.
How
Good.
are you?
I'm peachy.
Good.
Everybody staying safe? Everybody staying well?
Yeah.
All still alive somehow.
Yeah, we're all still kicking.
I think I had this shit back in November of 2019, the November prior to the March where we all got locked down here in Illinois. And I'm pretty sure that I had it back then because everybody in my house got the worst I've ever felt sick in my life. Ending with it feeling like my insides were on fire. Like I laid in a fetal position with 2 giant-ass pillows for 2 days before it finally went away. And that was in November of 2019. And then March of 2020, we all got locked the fuck down. So it was like, what the fuck is going on here? And then everybody around me was like, dude, don't go here. Don't go there. People are getting sick here. I'm grateful that I didn't have anybody that I knew loved one-wise that was in a nursing home. My wife has some good friends that work in, healthcare fields. Most of them like respiratory nurses, emergency room nurses, like they back up the doctors right out of the gate. So those guys were lucky that we haven't seen any of those guys get sick or anything. But I heard you guys had some illness in the ranks and had to step away. We away for a little while before you guys could come back. 'Cause I see it was like early December before you guys could get back in the room together.
Yeah, it was early November we got it together. So
we
all got it.
Yeah. We all got it.
All of it.
Shit.
We're a Lazarus band, like we all came back and everything. It was kind of weird the way it all came around. We hadn't been together for a long time.
Right.
And we all go, we're wearing masks, go there and everything like that. Go in, we were recording one night and we all were in the same room, singing into the same mic. We really weren't facing each other or anything like that. And we went out and we recorded 4 just like massively cool tracks, of course. But anyway,
for the album after next.
For the album after next album, which is going to be phenomenal. Anyway, we ended up like, we're listening to that and everything, and then like old Sammy gets a hold of it. He's like, guys, I'm sorry, I need to tell you guys something. And we were like, oh, okay. And we're like, oh, shit. So we all went and got checked. And I think me and Neil had it right off the bat. And then Rai. And it was like, literally the infection rate of this thing was like in a night, like
really
in like 4 hours that we were in that room together. We ended up getting that. And like I said, we weren't really facing each other. We were singing into the mic.
We stayed pretty distant from each other overall.
But it was just enough. And Rai ended up getting it like 2 weeks almost to the day after that. And it was just really, really crazy. I felt chest pressure and stuff. But I was kind of weirded out because I have had a few friends that have died from it. Like
that
one
sucks.
of them. That's, it's just what happened. And one of them, she was in a nursing home, had to die alone. They're literally, her family watched her on Facebook Messenger die. So, there's a lot there, that people don't really realize until it comes into your back door.
Nobody got any long-term effects out of this? Does anybody still feel like shit? Because they're saying like that it lingers.
I have a vitamin D deficiency now.
Yeah.
I've had that my whole life. Like I've had that. There's a lot of people that have it that don't know it because everybody eats processed foods.
I don't spend a lot of time in the sunshine, so I've always had one. Anyway.
Actually, they say that you really don't absorb a whole lot of it. You get most of it from your food and from your like little sun intake. But for the most part, it's in the food. Like I had one. I've had asthma my whole life, and then found out that I had a vitamin D deficiency. Started taking it because I went vegan like 3.5 or almost 3.5 months ago. And it changed everything for me on it because processed meats are like the same thing as smoking cigarettes for your body. So it fucked me up. Like I didn't realize that I was causing my own respiratory issues. Like I have a huge peanut butter problem. Like I love fucking peanut butter, but I can't eat as much of it as I'd love to because it tears me all to hell now due to fucking quitting everything else. Because now when you go vegan, you're not eating any more meat products, period. So all the inflammation's leaving your body. So I'm doing this in the middle of a pandemic, and it's like, it's hard to do this right now, let alone when it's like it's fucking normal. But I immediately dropped 30 pounds, and the only reason I did this is because ever since pre-COVID, I had respiratory issues that were very bad. Like we had a roof that fell in our house in Woodlawn, and it had asbestos. So he says there wasn't any asbestos in it, but my lungs immediately reacted to whatever the fuck was up there. And I've got allergenic asthma, bronchial asthma, and it's from cigarette smoke. So I quit smoking and then fucking went to quitting all the meat products. But I think we all got it, like I said, back in November of 2019, and it rocked the whole house for a good 6 months. Because it was February before we got
right away.
They say it's a bitch. But everybody's healthy. Everybody's cool now. Nobody's got
We're all
anything
doing
fucking
great.
with them or anything like that now.
My initial, when I got the test back positive, I was really surprised because it didn't feel like anything beyond a seasonal illness.
Right. So you were more like asymptomatic. Was that most of you that way?
I had the smell thing go for a while, but that was
that was the only thing. When they mentioned that, it was the only thing that it triggered my memory because I was like, yeah, I remember eating tomato soup and couldn't taste this shit.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just my nose felt like somebody shoved corks up it.
Oh man,
you can't breathe, you can't smell, you can't taste. Everybody knows that shit.
I was totally asymptomatic. I literally stood outside and built guitars for 2 weeks because I couldn't be around my kids.
No shit.
So, but built a lot of cool stuff.
But if I could say this, they're wonderful guitars, and everyone should have one. They should buy them.
Build me a bass. I'll buy it. You know I will. You put me down for one on that one.
He just got done building a rockin' ass bass, man. It's pretty cool.
You got one of these?
Neil's looking at me like, you buy it.
Hey, I've got one up here for sale at Halpin Music right now.
Halpin Music in Centralia, Illinois.
Actually, oh yeah. Actually, I think Sam ran to grab it. But now we build lots of dumb stuff. And some dumb stuff for Broken Circle. Just today, actually, I'm working on a solid body electric cello for the band.
Yeah.
And it sounds evil. I put some strings on it a while ago.
Amazing, man.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it legit sounds evil.
Sammy's bringing in one of Dr. Rockenstein's creations.
Oh, yes, Dr. Rockenstein. Hell yeah.
And it's all steel welded together. So
How much is it?
Damn.
Pounds?
How much does the bitch weigh?
about 13 pounds.
Oh, it's lighter than you would think it is. He built a wood guitar out of like 200-year-old wood that's like heavier than that one is. It's crazy.
Is that what the one? Yeah, that's the one that I see. I think that was the first one you did, or is that the second one you did?
I don't know. I'm on like 6 now.
been a long time in quarantine. So
Yeah, like how long has it been now? It's been since March, so it's coming up on a year.
Right.
On a year.
They just relaxed it for the second time here, from what I understand. I don't think I watched that press conference though.
Yeah, you can go sit in a restaurant now.
Well, I just came home from a restaurant.
Yeah, not that too many were obeying anything. So.
Oh, dude, it's. I've worked in restaurants for 26 years. I've had a few jobs here and there that weren't, and I've had a lot of jobs because I just don't like dealing with people. But, which is funny considering what I do. I don't mind dealing with musicians. Those guys seem normal to me. The rest of the world does not seem normal to me.
That's the twist.
The rest of the world is full of fucking crazy fucktards, and they're about to
people are crazy about their damn food. I've worked in one restaurant, and I would never do it again. I would have like people that would come in and they would order something, and then they would like accuse you of doing things to their food and everything wrong, and you're just like.
If you've ever worked in a restaurant, you'll take pride in watching a movie that I hold dear when it comes to restaurant work, and that is the movie Waiting.
Yeah.
That is actually what happens in kitchens. I've worked in
the belt.
It's no shit. If you act like it's the general rule amongst all living things. Don't fuck with people that handle your food.
Right, exactly.
If you're having a bad day, shut it off. Come inside, order your shit, eat your shit, get the fuck out.
As far as I'm concerned, just be nice to like service staff.
Hey,
for help.
Right.
That's their
It's
job.
not our choice to work there. Usually, it's not our choice. For me, it is. I love cooking. I love watching people enjoy food. I've had that love my whole life. When I was 17, I was going to go to Job Corps and leave high school to start my education in food, and then I had plans to get on a Navy boat and become a cook. Things happen. Life happens. I had kids. Fucking got inked past where I was allowed to. Too many waivers. A lot of shit went down that I wasn't allowed to join the Navy and do what I really wanted to do, which was cook. I wanted to be a Navy cook. But working in restaurants, it's it's funny when you work in an actual restaurant. Anything, and let me describe what I'm talking about. Anything that is got a drive-through window is not a restaurant.
Right.
With exception to Applebee's, because I think some Applebee's have the window, and that's so their people can just come back through, pick up the food that they're going to go deliver. Most times when you do carry out, you have to go inside and get the carry out for a lot of places. But like Burger King, Dairy Queen, McDonald's, Hardee's, any of those places like that are considered a fast food chain, even Fazoli's. But restaurants, you go inside, you sit down, you wait a half hour to get your shit. You know,
Right.
you're getting appetizers and all that kind of crap. But working in a restaurant atmosphere versus working in fast food is two entirely different beasts. When you're in a fast food restaurant, you literally are timed. That's the reason it's fast food, is because you have 2 minutes for breakfast, 2.5 to 2:45 for lunch, and 3 for dinner. And if you work midnights, like, you know, some places are open 24/7. Like I had just recently, you guys know where I work. I can't say, but leaving there recently, 24/7-hour stores are the worst because they mold. They literally do not get cleaned properly, so the insides of the place look disgusting. Like I've worked a couple places, one of which just closed its doors, is by Mount Vernon's Walmart, if you know what I'm talking about here. And it was the most disgusting place to work at ever. But it's not our usual choice to work in a restaurant. Usually it's, hey, that will give me enough money to get these bills fucking dealt with and people off my ass.
Right.
That's just what I've always had to do with it. And I love working in fast food. I love working in an actual restaurant. But during COVID, it's the worst thing I've ever had to go through. Like being in a place that I'm already familiar with, all that shit that I've done working in it, and well, you got to wear your mask or we're going to have to send you home. Well, no, I have asthma. I'm not wearing the mask. I'm sorry. I will keep myself distant from people if I have to. But it's funny to watch people at Walmart look at you crazy because you can't wear a mask.
Right. You know what? If we don't get this COVID thing under control, and we all have to become cannibals, we're all going to be tainted meat.
Good song title.
See, that's the way my mind thinks. I keep on thinking, well, you know, there's a lot of people running around now that we've had the quarantine, you know,
Oh, yeah.
like me, gained some weight and everything like that. And I'm thinking, you know, well, I'll get that one over there, or I'll get that one over there. But if everybody is like disease free, you know, it's going to be a smorgasbord out there. If they're not,
I'm all about a little
we're
hard
fucked. We're fucked. We might well all just start eating vegetables, and that's it.
We're gonna come back.
And I'm cool. My endocrinologist wants me to go plant-based. I'm not real crazy about it.
So we're gonna.
I
get
wasn't
that
either.
first.
I wasn't either, but I have found a way to get through it, and it's flavoring.
But it's not bad.
No, it's not. Like my wife just came home. You guys know Paula. She just came home
Yeah.
with some vegan burgers from friends of mine, Amy and Kyle. They live in Centralia, and she went to go visit them and drop off some clothes and shit for them and everything. And they hooked us up with these plant-based meat patties that they didn't care for. I use heavy garlic. I have my own palette of seasoning I use for everything. I use dill seed, dill weed, garlic salt, onion powder, real onions, whatever, cracked garlic, whatever I've got to do to spice it up, because you go biting into one of them bad boys and you ain't got nothing on it, it's going to taste disgusting. But my bread, everything I've got is vegan. The bread, the mayonnaise, I mean, ketchup and mustard doesn't have to be. Pickles don't have to be. I mean, there are certain things, because it says veggie on it, everybody's like, ooh, yeah, I can eat that. Then you read it and it's got milk and egg in it. Or it was made in an area that had milk and egg being made. So that makes it veggie, not vegan. But when I went plant-based, it was because of my lungs. I destroyed my lungs for 26 years smoking cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
Like 2 packs a day, every day for 26 years. And I've tried and tried. I've tried more times than all of us on this screen have had birthdays. I've tried that many times, at times 2, to quit smoking and never could do it. Finally, I made a deal with my wife because she chewed. She's Navy, so she's ex-Navy now. But she chewed. And I made a deal with her. She's not allowed to chew if I'm not allowed to smoke. Because everybody was watching me sit here and suffocate, and I'm coughing my guts up, can't get nothing to come up. And then I've got this, it sounded like I was sleeping with a death rattle. Like it was just literally blah, 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 in my lungs. Every breath air out, every breath of air in. And I finally gave up the smoking, and then I got a hold of my appetite finally. It was like, okay, now it's been a year. I'm actually 10 months in right now without one. I've had some hiccups, but usually it's alcohol. I'll get a couple of glasses in here. Next thing I know, I'm like, I want a cigar or something, you know. But
I quit smoking a lot, and then I'd start back up again and everything. I remember like it's been about 3 years now that I've stopped smoking, and two and a half. And the reason I stopped was I've got like a grandson that has a lot of health problems and everything.
Yeah.
He has to fight for every breath that he takes. And I was standing outside. I remember I was standing outside and I was smoking a cigarette, and I looked back there and I thought, Dave, you're a fucking jerk, man. And, like he's sitting there, and you're like out here, smoking. So I stopped smoking. And it was really crazy this time because, I had the sweats and I was really having them. But every day that I would want one, I'd be like, well, me and Ollie quit, and Ollie wants a cigarette, but I told him he couldn't have one. And that's the way I did it. I personalized it, and I got through it.
Yeah, I had to get that way myself.
Anymore.
I don't either, because I walk past people that smoke now, and I have no love lost. I understand it's an addiction. I mean, come on. Ozzy Osbourne said it fucking best. He said he had an easier time quitting heroin than he did quitting cigarettes, and that man smoked Marlboros like they were fucking eating Tic Tacs.
Ozzy hasn't quit doing heroin. What the fuck?
No, he just got put on shit that he forgot about heroin.
He was talking on one interview I thought he was talking about still, he slid off and he smoked some pot, and I thought, oh no, Ozzy's going off the rails on the crazy train.
Right. That's what got me to quit smoking cigarettes. Is I literally, like, right now, this is a hitter. This is not, this is. So I went from, I've always smoked pot. I've smoked pot just as long as I've smoked cigarettes. I picked them both up at 13. It wasn't because it was a gateway drug. It's because I got bored and I wanted to be an asshole. So I decided to start smoking cigarettes. Smoking pot always leveled me out, made me a little paranoid all the time. But the reason you're paranoid isn't because of the drug. It's because it's still not completely fucking legal. So you don't want to get caught. So your brain goes there. As soon as you hear a knock on the door, it's like, oh, hide everything. There's somebody here. I'm fucking 42 years old and I'm still running around like my mom's knocking on the door. It's fucking horrible. But that was what helped me get past smoking cigarettes. Was I had to have a different kind of crutch. Having in my hand, because when I smoked, most of you have known me quite a while. I've always had a cigarette or something in my hand while I'm drinking or something like that. Just a physical fidget, I guess. But this actually helped me stop, because every time I want one, like after dinner, after sex, getting in the car, any of that, I go straight to my hitter. And it's helped me get past the addiction. I'm 10.5 months in now, and I'm going for a full year without even having cigar.
That's good. Well, I still to this day, when I fire up my morning coffee, if I'm sitting there holding a pen, I'll just look at that. Oh shit, Be good to have a.
Right. Well, I started by chewing on what the fuck are straws.
Yeah.
I've been chewing on straws, like the real heavy plastic fuckers you buy at Walmart and shit. I buy one of those and just gnaw the fuck out of it. But back to what we were originally here for.
Yes.
How did Broken Circle? Now I know 3/4 of you guys. I didn't meet him until later on through another musician, Angela French. But who's everybody, and where did it get started at?
Well, you got Dave, you got Sam, you got Neil, and you got Ryan. Basically, I just wanted to do some recording out at my studio with Dave. Groove Tang was kind of not doing much at the moment, and Dave had songs that come out and jam, Right. So we did, and we started recording a few of them, and the very first night, we literally spent the whole night just banging on things and making sounds. Because half that first album, Venom and Treacle, is the percussion is random stuff. Like you hear a bass drum, that's actually a fire hydrant being dropped on the concrete.
Sampled over.
Log chains, just all kinds of random objects. And but it didn't take long, because we'd build tracks to play to. But it was mostly Dave, just kind of making things happen, and it didn't take long. Dave started getting too blind to drive, and
I about ran over him in his driveway one time, and then I'm never gonna fucking hear the end of it.
You don't come out of that driveway to hit the ditch. But he started bringing Ryan to drive him, and it's like, well, if you're going to be here, lay down a track.
I was just supposed to drive, and then 5 minutes later, we're writing 3 more tracks.
Yeah, he's like, lay down, slide on this track, do this, and
right.
just started coming together. Next thing we know, we have 28 songs on the album, and we started playing open mics and stuff. And then we're all like, well, we got to do something with this. We got to actually put it out. So we got to start getting it ready to go out. And we were like, finally we were like, we need someone on percussion, because I'm sitting there trying to play a kick drum all the time and play, our voodoo stick, but it's just not good enough. I'm already playing guitar and singing or whatever we happen to be doing, and I'm rhythmically challenged. So
we didn't want a drummer per se. Right. We wanted a percussionist, somebody that had a natural feel for all kinds of things, and it was really weird. Like, my version is kind of different than his, really. Like, when Groove Tang ended, I was done. Right. I was so sick, and I was in the hospital and everything like that.
Yeah. And I knew you had some bad health problems there for a while.
He came walking in with a guitar that he had, we had recorded 3 songs together, and he had made me a guitar out of all these different parts and everything. And he came in, and he was he had to wear a yellow gown, because they were got MRSA and all this other shit, and everything. And I was like laying there. When he came in, I was really, really shocked to see him, and everything. And he said, I want to keep making music. And I was like, well, I'm done. He goes, you can't be done. We haven't made any music yet. And I was like, all right, and I was really, really, that night there's a song on, it's on the Redux too, but it's on that first CD. That night I wrote this song called Oh Black Crow, because I was laying there in my bed, and I was like, this crow landed on the windowsill, and all I kept thinking about was, okay, you gotta get out of this situation. But then we went and we played this gig at this place that we play every year.
We
used to play, and it was the Blanchard Bash, and Blanchard Bash is awesome.
Oh yeah.
And there's a bunch of people that show up there and everything, and we, Neil invited Sammy.
Yeah, so we were prospecting him a little bit.
Sammy came up there, and he was getting down to all the music and everything like that. And then he got too fucking drunk, and he went out to the car.
Where the fuck is he? Did he not like it?
And then we invited him to a practice, and he came and he's got a cajon, and he's sitting there, and he's got all chains and these little like whistles and a xylophone and a saxophone and a harmonica, and we're like, what the fuck is that?
4 cowbells.
And we had gone, skipped a step there, we had gone down and played an open mic, and Angela was down there, and Sammy was with her, and we were blown away by her and Jason and Sammy anyway. And then Neil's like, that's the guy that I want to be our percussion player. And he came and he played 2 songs, and we were like, holy fuck. Yeah. And I remember I looked at him, I was like, well, you don't really have a choice. You're in the band.
I was more like, when I found out he didn't just not see much of his playing, he was passed out in his car. I was like, well, that's the guy for us.
Right.
I was standing right beside him at the Blanchard Bash, and you just see him grooving and pop. Grooving and pop. And then all of a sudden, the 30-pack he had next to him was gone. And he was in his car. I was like, that guy can hang.
And what's really, really nuts about that is I don't think I've ever seen Sammy drink like that.
No, more. I've never seen Sam drink more than 2.
No.
Sometimes you just get in the zone.
And once I came into the songs, once I started hearing the songs that these guys were laying down, I felt like I didn't have a choice either, because there's nobody else out here that's writing songs like this, I think, where you can get so many different topics in one album, through the course of the album, 28 songs.
That's a lot.
We go everywhere, and it's a chance to really explore the range, with the percussion, the sounds, all that. So it was a great fit. I thought.
28 songs, and that was just a start, because we have so much more already. Though we haven't put it out yet because we just we thought we'd do one more thing. We were like, man, we want to put this thing out on vinyl, but vinyl's stupid expensive to make. So like, and then if we put 28 songs on vinyl, that's like 6 albums.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, well, let's pick a few off each CD on there and make put it on this. Like, well, why don't we just re-record it? Because we play things differently now with Sam. Like, it's just a cooler, different vibe.
Is that what the Redux?
Yeah.
That is what the Redux is.
Okay.
The Matricular Redux.
I was curious what the difference is because I've only noticed a few. That's very nice. That is very nice. And I'm a vinyl collector, so I will be purchasing one of these.
So, like, we did that for vinyl, and because it would be cool. We actually made a bunch of 7-inch singles through another company that people go and buy, and we actually sold a pretty good amount of them.
Vinyls?
A vinyl, yeah. We still have a few left because we had some extras made with it. It was a shut-in session thing, so we made individual songs for individual people who ordered it.
Right.
So every song had a.
Yeah, that thing was cool. I've seen a couple of people do the same thing you guys did, where you get a personalized vinyl that's pressed just for them.
Yeah, hand lathe cut through clear, like hard vinyl, and it was cool. So then we made a few extras too. So we got a handful of different singles available. But then we're like, let's do full length. But like, we wanted to do the songs we had, so we decided to redo them. And there's some really, really cool versions on here.
Yeah. So new takes. We didn't reuse any tracks off of the previous recordings. Just all new.
Yeah, all new. So we were going to do just vinyl, but then we discovered that most of our friends are poor as shit. So we decided to go ahead and put it out online, and that's where we had the live over at Scale Music Academy. Good friends of ours. I work with them in Halpin. I work with them there.
Where's Scale's Music Academy?
Scale Music Academy in Salem, Illinois. They teach all kinds of stuff. Rock band. Sam teaches there.
Nice.
They're all about spreading the love of music. So we did a live from there as a CD release for that album on CD. So we've got like 40 copies left or so.
Nice.
And then, of course, it's online through all your streaming sources. We always get paid every time someone streams it at anywhere you want to stream it at. So it's fun, and there's some, like I said, there's some really good takes on there that are totally different. Like,
I noticed a few of them that were different cut.
Adam's Lament.
Old Black Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Mercy's played different. I mean, I don't know. I Need Drugs is totally different.
Dude, that song fucks me up. I'm sitting at my kitchen table now. I've got it streaming on my TV, my 60-inch, and it's playing through my old stereo that's down below it. And I'm sitting at my kitchen table doing bills. And I was like, I'm going to listen to this finally. I got 5 minutes or whatever. So I throw it on there, and I fucking cast it. Next thing I know, I hear Dave and singing what he sings in that song. And it just, like, I stopped and laughed my ass off.
Well, I actually got inspired to write that, like, because of, like a lot of the stuff that I write about are things that I experience or things that other people experience, and I steal that from them, and I'll write a song about it. But I kept on hearing people saying, well, I don't do drugs, and I'm thinking, okay, I drink coffee like fucking, it's part of my metabolism at this point, and I have to take insulin every day, and it goes on and on and on. But I can't stand it when these like people say, "Well, I don't like drugs." Be sitting there like swilling a Mountain Dew, and they're saying, I don't take drugs. I don't have to take drugs to have a good time. Well, good for you. I don't care.
Right. I like drugs.
I need drugs, and that's why I wrote the song. I need drugs.
I need different kind of drugs.
when people hear that, they're like, "I need drugs." Well, and that's like
on words,
Adam's Lament. If you listen to the word, that's about Adam and Eve in the Bible and everything like that. And it wouldn't have been in that shape if I wouldn't have picked that apple off that goddamn tree. And people are like, no, it's goddamn tree because the God, he made that tree and it wasn't a good thing. He got real pissed at him, And so, I like to do stuff like that when I write lyrically. And then you can get in here, we are all differently motivated by different things as far as, music goes. I mean, I like writing a really good song lyrically and coming to the fold with it and everything, and be like, it might have like triple meanings or something like that.
Right.
When I first did a song that had that, was like the first time I had one was in Groove Tang and the Addict's Prayer. And it was actually about 3 different things, but people just heard it, this one version of that, you know, and everything. And it kind of put me in mind, like when Eddie Vedder said one time, when people like listen to their songs and they think that that song's about him, and he's like, no. And then they think that song's about them. He's like, no,
So
it's just a song.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes there's a lot of it that happens that way. I know of a couple of artists, mainstream artists, that wrote a song that they just enjoyed the rhythm, the lyrics, everything fit together well for them. But it's such a believable notion, because a song is not a good song unless, to me, it's like a story being told. Then you've got other songs that just do not have any lyrical basis for it, that you were just filling it. And it literally just, it's like Tuesday taco, 2 o'clock taco. It's
Right.
that they throw together.
Right.
Yeah, you really won't have that with our songs.
Let me grab on my notebook, though. I got a
Yeah.
side project.
Let me tell you how we write songs. Like the first album was literally every single song, almost. Dave brought a few that he had stuff already written for, but like every single song on that album, on Venom and Treacle, the first one, was almost written and recorded same night. Like,
Right.
I don't know, something would pop out, a riff would pop out, and Dave's like, I got the perfect lyrics, man. And literally, he'd be strolling through his notebooks and iPad, and like, we'll start jamming on it, and then it came out. And
Right.
My favorite one like that is Swamp Mud. He's going through and he's like, I got a song about a succubus. I got a song about the devil. I've got a song about a swamp monster. I was like, wait, swamp monster? I got
Swamp
something
Thing.
swampy.
Yeah.
I can do something swampy.
Right.
And so
See, my favorite song is Reckless.
Nice.
That's my favorite song on the whole album, out of all of them. But
We're going to release a video of that someday if we ever get all of it filmed. I mean, we started out, I filmed a thing. We're just going to put a bunch of clips together and stuff like that. But see, that's another one of those songs that totally changed when Sammy came into the fold too. You know, like it's a real driving kind of, you know, like song now and everything like that. And
as you've heard on Venom and Treacle Redux.
right.
That's the
You know,
album that I'm
yeah.
familiar with. I purchased that one on you guys' I believe.
It's kind of, you know, the Redux, the whole thing about it that I wanted was, I wanted there to be a bridge between the first thing that we did and then the next thing that we do as a band.
Yeah, because actually, before we recorded Redux, we have a whole nother album recorded already. Like the whole thing plus some, and then another half album beyond that recorded. Because like the way the songs are being written now, I mean, they're just coming out so smoothly. And I've never worked in a band that just comes out, comes together. You know, we speak our ideas together. Like, oh, I think I need this, like this, and like Sam's great about just throwing in. It's like, oh, hang on the E here, just hang on that, and then. You know, our vocals, I mean, there's times where we're singing 4 totally different things at once.
Right.
And just changing up. And like, I mean, the new album, I think we have 2 bass solos on it, maybe, along with, you know, everything we do in sax solos.
We've got a horn section in a couple of the songs.
Yes, we did.
And before you think, well, a horn section, what's that? But when you hear the song,
It's a wall, man.
it's just like it blows your mind. And that's what I really like about this band in particular too. We all come in with something to offer, and it's all taken into consideration, you know, and there's no ego involved as far as, you know, there's no star of the band or anything like that. You've got 4 separate entities that are getting up there, and they're making this giant laser beam that's shooting you right between the eyes. And I like that. You know, like if I had my way when we performed live and everything like that, and I've said this several times, I'd have us all in a line up there, you know, because, and I thought of every band that I've ever been in, I've wanted that, because I don't like not being able to see what the drummer or the percussionist is doing back there.
Yeah.
I like
the
being
guy's
up
stuck
there.
behind the singer and you can't see him.
And there is so much that's going on because of the way that we all produce our product and throw it out there. I mean, Rai-Rai's over there hammering on the bass like, crazy. We get done playing every practice and every live show and everything, and his hands are just blunging,
I feel you on that.
Sammy is over here, and he has got such a unique sense of rhythm. He's got all this stuff going on, and if you watch him, like, I love going back on video and watching Sammy play, because you're like, how in the hell is he doing what he's doing? Because he's just all over the place, and it's perfectly in time and everything like that. I've never seen Sammy just totally go off.
I've seen him play saxophone with one hand and percussion with the other.
Yeah.
I seen him, the first time I had seen Sammy play was up at Geo's open mic, and I can't remember who else was up there. I actually have video I'll probably add to this, but it's actually on my movement page on YouTube and probably on Facebook as well. But I went up there for an open mic, and there was this was right as we were all able to go back out the first round before they shut restaurants back down again. But when they first opened up everything, when everybody started going to the bar, it wasn't but like a week or two after that. And I had seen him up there playing like 4 things at once. So I was just like, okay, yeah, this guy here is going somewhere with this. But I'd found out that you were with Angela and then doing Broken Circle at the same time. What all ventures are you in right now, Sammy?
Yeah, so I got Angela, got Broken Circle. I've got I play some music with my good friend Josh Nelson. I play keyboards and sax. We've been done a couple shows in Benton. We try to get a 5-piece.
Right.
With Cedarhurst too. So a couple of things lined up with Nelson.
I think that's where I know that name from.
Yeah. He was at Geo's. He did open mics at Geo's. Let's see. There's Bongo Pablo Super Jam. It's good friends with that guy. We'll be doing a couple outdoor festivals up here in April, so we'll be playing sax with him. Yeah, some cool hippie stuff. And
so that's why I love Broken Circle, because I could throw on you guys' album, and if I could light up a doob, and I'm off on a fucking trip.
Slap the headphones in when you do that.
Yeah,
I do.
There's a bunch. There's a bunch of stuff in there, that's just kind of like, and it all boils down to two. Like, Rai-Rai was in just a hardcore punk band called the Smacks. Okay. Neil's been in Washgo and many bands. I was
not to mention the recording he's been doing on the Halpin Music. I mean, all the other stuff going on.
Halpin Music in Centralia, Illinois.
Live Sound Studio.
Right, and Live Sound Studio.
When did you? Because I think I had come to your store a couple times, and you guys were just starting to build it then. Has that been going longer than I know of? Or
Live Sound Studio technically started in 2004. Okay. And it's when I was getting out of college. I've got a bachelor's degree in audio, and it technically started as a mobile studio back then, and it's just evolved through different things, and then. I can't remember what year I moved out to where I am now, but now I have a full building of my own with heat, air, bathroom, the whole 9 yards, walls with tube amps, and drum sets. Everything's set to record at all times. I mean, drums are always ready and mic'd up and ready to go. I run a Soundcraft board and Pro Tools 8. It's all antiquated, but sounds good. We don't like. We don't try and get the sound. We make the sound. Like it comes in good and comes out good.
If you focus most of your, and this is what I've been taught anyway, if you focus most of your effort on the quality of the microphone, the quality of your acoustics, everything else is easy as shit.
Mm. Yeah. Well, if you record a good signal, you have a good signal, a good sound. Yeah. I try and do it like it's an old analog tape studio.
Oh yeah.
Why would I want to punch in a bunch of stuff if we can just play until we get a good take?
Yes.
And with that, it's not like we're wasting tape. So,
because it's all digital, so you're not worried about paying for physical.
I can fix anything, but if we do it right the first time, there's a lot of beauty in the imperfection of recording. Like every verse got this little difference to it. That sounds so much better than a robot.
Well, it's like Rolling Stones, I think, could still to this day still use a tape deck to record their music. From what I understand, they never went digital. They still would write down everything on a different cassette tapes, and then they all get together, and then they play it through a analog system still to this day. And I love that. Like, I would love to get my hands on analog type materials. I don't get down with. I don't necessarily enjoy an MP3. You know what I mean? I will buy one if that's all a band has, but I prefer physical still in my hand. You know what I mean? I love artwork. The more artwork somebody can put into an album, the longer I can zone out on the music and look at what you're fucking drawing. You know, shit like that. It just takes me back to being like, 9, 10, 11 years old and looking at my dad's record collection.
Right. I think there's a big difference. I don't think to some of the younger kids, they don't even know this, There's a huge difference. Well, I was just recording a girl here recently. She's like 23. And, I don't know if she even knows physical copies of stuff because, there is such a huge sound difference between playing a CD in your system and just plugging your phone in and listening to it. And then there's also a difference between Bluetoothing your phone and plugging your phone directly in.
Yes.
I mean, I've got a lot of hearing damage, but I can still hear the difference,
Same here. I got one ear that can't hear high pitches in your drums.
Yeah, so that's not right, but I can definitely tell the difference. And then a difference in the vinyl. I mean, it all has a different texture to it. And
like me and you go back to when I first bought my house, and I hadn't really gotten to know you. Like, I knew you'd played with Mark and Washco, and I knew you'd done some audio projects in the past. Didn't know it in depth how far out your reach goes, but you had actually put a Yamaha stereo system in my old Sylvania that Jeremy Bullock had gifted to me years ago. And to this day, everything on it but the record player still goes. I think the connections for the record player that we adapted, the panel you put across the back so I could plug into the panel instead of under the stereo, I think it shit the bed. But the record player still works. But now, I've got it wired all down through my basement to where anything that plays, anything that I get from you guys, all goes through this, and I've got everything categorized. But the sound difference on a tuned cabinet compared to just regular speaker boxes, like home speakers, or the smaller, speakers that are out today with the compact systems that they put out, like Blu-ray players. Every bit of that has a different sound. Like when I started with Cause of Ruin in 2007 or 8, we tried doing everything hot wired. We didn't know jack shit about shit. We thought, we can hot wire this right through a microphone, right into the computer, and couldn't figure out why all we kept hearing was behind everything. But eventually you live and learn. I didn't know jack shit about it. I didn't go to school for it. I couldn't even go to work on time half the time, let alone try to do anything like that back then. But there is a large difference in the way things sound digitally versus having a physical copy of it that I could play over a tuned cabinet, 1967 cabinet stereo system. Because my wife has one that's from the 80s, and I absolutely hate it. It's upstairs. I bought it, but it's eventually aging, and they tell you not to plug anything new into anything old. It'll fry it eventually. For some reason, the signals are different. But playing with hertz and playing with different when you play back a song on iTunes and you can change the hertz level, and then you get up to a point where it's it sounds like autocorrect going on in the background behind the song.
Right.
But there is a lot of difference in it, and I find I used to hate certain artists that were mainstream artists, like Justin Timberlake. I couldn't stand his music. I couldn't stand NSYNC when he started from all that shit. But then I watched Future Love Sex Show live at Madison Square Garden, and the fucker is a hell of a musician. He can play. He can play guitar. He can play bass. He can play fucking piano. He sings. He can do every bit of that while singing. I mean, that takes a lot to do all that. Even though it's not metal, even though it's not our type of music that you guys play, but still, I mean, just to see that kind of an artist go there and live play the fuck out of everything, I'm like, hell yeah, more props.
I mean, that's things like. I think as we got older, we've got a greater appreciation for more. But I was asking my buddy Josh the other day, and I was like, did you ever think you'd see me play banjo on stage? In Broken Circle, we're about to banjo, mandolin, banjo-lele. We switch instruments up nonstop. I mean, there's songs, some new songs where I'm playing banjo, Sam's playing guitar. Right. We go back and forth between him playing acoustic and resonators and banjo-leles. And we don't even play bass. He plays a resonator bass.
Nice.
Bass, that's just so bad.
Yeah. Nothing can be normal. But we switch all the time. So that's actually kind of a rough thing when we do like we played Mountain Mayhem, you know, I kind of build this to them as like, oh yeah, we're the most metal band there, and she's like, you're in another metal band? I'm like, yeah. Because I mean, if you think about it, you look at this guy over
got
here.
that on tape.
This guy's covered in leather and spikes and you know, the horns. And
Yeah.
but seriously, dude, we do more thrashing around and screaming. We sing songs about dead people and succubuses and mythological creatures. What's more metal than that?
And love. We sing about love too. And
Loving dead creatures.
Loving drugs, yeah.
But like, I mean, literally, I was like, our topics, man, we might be the most metal band there.
Right.
We hadn't convinced for a minute, then they actually listened to us. Like, oh,
Right.
that's cool though.
Then we started dragging up the cajon and the saxophone.
And they're all like, what?
Pulled out the xylophone.
You got one of them grandpa amps? My 1976 twin?
It's
you know?
really what I really like about a lot of times when we go walking up there, you know, and everything. And I have to admit that this is like a little guilty, evil pleasure of mine. But I love it when Sammy comes walking in and he puts a xylophone down, and people are watching him, and they're like, and then he'll put like the cajon down, and people are like, well, what the fuck is this going to like? You know,
You're talking about when you're getting booked at a metal show.
Right.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they start playing, and everybody, it's really cool, like, to see the reaction of people when they're extremely satisfied with music in general. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, you're just like, wow, you know, and everything.
The
It's like for me,
Right.
It's like for me though, like people, like most of you know me from Spirit of Chaos or Sim or the Shooting the Shit with Baldy podcast, which is what we're doing now. But a lot of you don't know that I was in. I think Neil and Dave may know this, but I didn't start in metal. I started in Driftwood String Band. And we covered like Eric Clapton, Bob Marley. We had our own music that we had started to do at that time. And at that time, we still didn't, like, I didn't know jack shit. I couldn't tune my bass guitar to save my fucking life. I learned everything I know how to do I learned how to do from Jeremy Bullock. The two of us learned it together. You know, when Cause of Ruin started, we learned what not to do and what to do, how to tune, how to get stage presence. And we took a lot of that from Sacrifice the Gods. You know, so Leon, like, so a lot of I speak highly of Leon Ray and the guys from Sacrifice, Larry White, Timmy, all those guys were awesome. Like when we first started together, because we learned how to advertise our band. We learned how to use Facebook as a tool, not as, oh, I want to put my political fucking bullshit all over the place. So we learned, well, I mean, Facebook's an advertisement platform. If you really think about it, it's not meant for social media.
Right.
It's literally an advertisement platform. They've made their millions from it. You know, picking our brain and learning how we react to shit is their.
And actually, honestly, that's every form of media right now. I mean, newspapers,
It is.
avenue for advertisement, radio, avenue for advertisement. There's no real, you know, anything besides paid advertisement.
Yeah, you have to basically roll the dice when you want to know about something going on in the world and pick a source that you can somewhat trust, because most of them have some type of political backing. They have most of their stockholders or somebody that holds an office somewhere or close enough. So you really have to pick and choose where you use your platforms. But like, I started playing bass in a band that played music that was far from metal. Like, it was covering other fucking musicians, but we used to play every Thursday night at VFW, and things got out of hand and people started getting thick skulls and fights started happening, which is funny considering you're playing Bob Marley taking mushrooms one show, the next show you're beating the shit out of each other.
Right.
It's fucking weird. But we split up, and then I met Jeremy through his brother Patrick, and you guys know the rest.
Yeah.
But like, I've had a fondness, like my favorite bands on the planet, there's two, and they're both of different, complete opposites of each other. The first one is Korn, the second one is Pink Floyd.
Nice.
One covered the other. That's right. How well I've like, holy shit, like, okay, they have the same love I have for this particular artist. So, you know, I mean, it just, the two different sides of me, like, there's times where I just want to come downstairs and listen to a 25-minute fucking instrumental of God knows what. I throw on Pink Floyd Animals, I smoke a doobie, and I lay in my 420 lounge and stare at the ceiling for 4 hours.
Right.
You know? And then there's other times where I want to put my fucking head through a wall, so I'll throw on Abaddon or, you know, Annihilate the Hero. It just depends. I mean, I don't hardly listen to mainstream music anymore because there's so many fucking artists around here, and I never have to look for it. Like, it's always coming across the page now from doing this for a while. But
right.
You guys are new to this and everything. Well, you guys are not new to this. The group is new to everybody in the area here. Who's some guys that you have played alongside of that have likewise taste?
Roaming Home.
Yeah.
Those are some good dudes. I've recorded their album for them that just came out,
Right
but
on.
they're very much like swampy, bluesy, just good stuff, and
Very-
little bluegrassy and a whole lot of life in there.
Right.
Those guys, Angela French, of course, 'cause
Angela. And,
we could take things to a different
Yeah.
place. We actually did one show with Washco too, which was pretty
Right on.
cool. I don't know, and then of course Mountain Mayhem. But it's been hard to. Of course, this 2020 didn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well. It feels like a simulation at
Yeah.
this point.
And honestly,
Right.
we kind of had 2020 lined up before it all went to hell. Like,
So
Yeah.
many of you did. I've heard
Like
that
we-
from so many of you now.
We were booked. but-
yeah, we had PKs fucking loved us when we finally got in to play down there, us and Washco, and
I was just talking to Perez about that on the last podcast, last week's, and I was just talking to him about that, how a lot of us up here, if you're in Washington County, if you're in northern counties from Mount Vernon, if you're in Mount Vernon, Salem, the list goes on and on. There's so many bands in the area around here, but for some reason, Carbondale has no love.
Yeah.
It's hard.
All
It's
those
hard to
kids.
go southern. It's hard to go
It's-
further south to get booked.
yeah, well, I mean, there's not much left to play down there.
Yeah,
So when I talked
it's
to
really
Roger-
changed down there since like the 80s and the
Yeah, we
90s
both went to
and stuff,
Carbondale.
And I talked to
And-
Roger, and he said the bands are sick of playing down there because everything's dying out. Like the Lost Cross House just got purchased. They don't know whether or not it's going to survive. The
Mm.
taco truck is like hanging on by a thread. Hangar's up for sale. I mean, it's getting pretty shitty down there. So like, these bands are trying to make their way up here to play. And I'm like, dude, there ain't shit to play in Mount Vernon.
Yeah,
Right.
it
It
just
used
gets
to
worse.
be.
I
Used to
mean,
be you could go and pay $300, rent a hall, and you can get everybody you wanted in there with a door cover.
yeah.
The VFW, the Eagles, the Moose Lodge, all three are shut
Oh,
down
yeah.
now. The
Oh,
crossing,
definitely.
this crossing just got sold. But Joe's Pizza owns it now, and it's DB's. They play acoustic music. Like you guys literally, you guys should contact them because they're looking for bands to play inside that are along what you guys could pull off.
Mm.
It's hard to book around here. Geo's will book you. The
Yeah,
Crossing
Geo's
will book
dug
you.
us.
Yeah.
Spot Tavern would book you guys. Check them out. As far as Mount Vernon goes, I don't know about Centralia. I don't know about Nashville. I mean,
There's
that would
not
be
a
more
lot
you
around
guys.
in Centralia
I
anymore.
don't think there's anybody will have a band in Centralia. Rumors, but
Well, what
they.
about
you know-
Joe's?
Oh yeah, Joe's. Yeah, I forget that's
Yeah, I
Walmart.
forgot, yeah.
That's
true.
Walmart.
It
It's
is.
different.
That's Walmart.
What?
That's the dirty stepsister we don't talk about by Centralia.
I mean, I've played so many killer shows there. Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, with Washco and Groove Tang and
Right.
Fun Gone Wrong. Like, some
Oh,
some really just absolute
Right.
killer nights.
With the Crossing, they book, but it's like they want acoustic type bands in the summer, and then they want anything they can get, or in the winter they want acoustic type bands because they can't play out there. And the back bar is no longer the back bar; it's now part of DB's or part of Joe's Pizza. It's for fine dining now.
So, like I've had this conversation with a lot of people too, and it's nothing against anybody that plays covers. Of course, it absolutely you have to have skill that do that. But
To play
like a
covers.
lot of
There we
people, they play covers to make money. They can make money every weekend and everything. A band making original music has such a hard time even getting heard. And that's where social media actually comes in to play that, that it is kind of cool, at least you're getting heard and everything like that. But a band like us, we could have a really good live show and everything like that. But the fact of the matter is there's nowhere to play right now.
I've had this conversation with a lot of you, and I've come up with an idea that I think a lot of us should adopt, and it would work for everybody. And it's find you a group of the bands that are the cover bands and ask to open.
I don't, like as far as that goes, I wouldn't mind doing that like every now and then, but I like getting out there with a total new music experience.
True.
I would love to get out there. I love playing gigs with Angela and Jason and Sammy.
That's what I'm getting at. If you've got like I said, I've had no love lost to anybody that is going to play covers as their full thing.
Right.
Like their band is specifically for playing covers. That's great. because you've got cover bands that specify per band. They want to do
Right.
one band, and then you've got others that just do an entire library of different kinds of people's music. But right now, I think coming out of COVID, I think a lot of licensing is going to start getting thrown around because of what's being done.
Right.
Facebook, YouTube, social media in its entirety is going through a reset right now. I have noticed that a lot of the stuff that I had on my Facebook page before I rebranded it as Baldy's, because before it was Southern Illinois Metal Movement. And the reason I rebranded it is because they were starting to come to me as if it was a business. And I had to explain to them that it is not a business. It is literally just a promotion. That's all it is. I make sure that everybody has a voice on that page. Even so much as using the blog page for people to release their music to as if it was like a magazine. But you're seeing a lot of like copyright where bands are not allowed to play because they can't copyright them.
I'm hoping that we're on the cusp of having a music scene again here, because I know that once the COVID thing goes away, everybody's going to want to go out and see bands again.
Yeah.
And I think it will be a very good time for local music everywhere. You know, everybody's going to have a good time.
That's what I was getting at, because if you think about it, a lot of these bars can't afford to pay their licensing right now. So there's going to be a lot of cover bands that can't play because they don't have the licensing in the place anymore. It depends on your region. Some regions, the bars have to hold the ASCAP and BMI. And then there's other places where the band themselves pay to have that. It's not much. It's it's under $50 for each, I think.
Well, there's like where we did our first show was really our first open mics were at a coffee shop here in town.
Right.
And which I think we kind of broke their minds a little bit, because they were used to, you know, the girl on the playing the acoustic guitar type stuff, and we're, you know, like, God damn, you know, we're just like, and we kind of like broke them. Like I remember, like they didn't want to bring stuff in like drums, so I'm just gonna bring a bass drum. And I remember this like gray-haired old lady sitting at the very front table. And we're starting going, she's looking in, and then all of a sudden I start kicking that bass drum. It's like just blowing her gray hair back in, the blue hair flying. I'm like, but I mean, we kind of like, kind of really like not what they were expecting out of anybody there. But like we didn't get 2 songs in, and people are into it because the songs just like make you bob your head, you know. Yeah. And people who are like doing some videos were singing along, didn't know the song, they were singing along already. And we ended up doing our first CD release there, which kind of broke down. But speaking of the ASCAP stuff, they quit doing shows and stuff like that because they couldn't afford to hold the license anymore to do that. I mean, they can't have original shows, but like they can't, like hold open mics because they can't legally play cover songs there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of places that got in trouble for that, and that's the reason why they stopped playing live music.
Yeah, it
cover
just
bands
costs too much.
Because I don't know what it's like here. You would know more about that than I do, but I know that either the band or the bar has to hold it.
Yeah, and it's always the bar.
Is it the bar? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it probably should be the bands because they're the ones getting paid to do it.
Well, the reason for it, though, from my understanding, is so that the bands get what's called performance rights and replay rights.
Yeah, so I mean, of course, it just goes into a giant pot of songs. They don't know tracks,
and then they get pennies on it. So
actually, if even pennies. I mean, have you looked into what streaming rights and payments are?
Yeah, it's a cent, half a cent.
Not even half.
It's not even half a cent now. It was the last time I looked at it.
Like Spotify is like 0.02 cents a play.
Holy shit! So you would need like 1,000 plays just to get a nickel.
Yeah, right. No, that's a shit. But Napster is actually the best place for artists.
I've seen you guys have Napster on there, and I've actually defended Metallica live on the podcast a couple times.
Well, these days, Napster is Rhapsody. They bought Rhapsody. So they're a subscription-only service, and streaming service only, subscription only. But
the laws have changed since they got in their deep shit with Metallica, too. So
artists make twice as much as any other streaming source through Napster.
Right.
So, I mean, I subscribe to Napster, a couple accounts, actually, because you get paid way more. You get paid
What's theirs at?
There's like a half cent a play.
Oh, that's damn good.
compared to 0.2 cents a play or.
Well, I try to explain to
100.
people that don't know, because there's bands that come to me and they ask me, like I've had some of them that are down in the Heron area that hit me up, and some of them try to figure out what they need to do to make money. And I've told them, I said, YouTube, it helps dramatically. Patreon, doing the live streams that you guys do, because you guys can't get some kind of feed for that. If you have it set up, you have to have moderators these days. It's so weird, but streaming your music is a lot like truck driving. Like, these guys get paid so many cents per mile.
Right.
But they put out a shit ton of money on all the stuff that they need for them. They've got to pay for their own clothes, their own food. Sometimes they have to put out their own fuel. You know what I mean? But in our case, it's everything comes out of you guys' pockets. You know, you're paying the power that keeps the lights on for you to record in your studio, and you're working a 9 to 5 doing your own thing. You got it luckier than I think most of us, because you get to work in music all damn day long. You know, like I don't even know if you do anything, Neil, other than helping and the live audio and the band.
Yeah, I work a lot of hours a week to do that, and which, I mean, I've done so many worse jobs. So I mean, I've been offered so many better paying jobs, but like, when do I get to do stuff? Where do I get to hang out?
When do you get to do what you want to do
and fix guitars and install audio? But like, I'm pretty lucky. I got a great wife that lets me have this stuff. So, I have a building that we can do. We hang out there. It's comfortable. It feels great. Sounds great. I mean, everything at my studio, Live Sound Studio, is just like live. Like, I'm serious. Like, you can just play and sound good. Because, like, like some things, like you can't have a loud guitar with the drums trying to record. Yeah. Not in my house, man. I have literally recorded out there a drum set. Full band, 2 Fender
That's what
Twins.
I was getting ready to say.
2 Fender Twins blaring, and it still sounded fucking awesome straight away.
Like I said, man, it's the quality of the mics, the quality of the acoustics.
Yeah, speaking of mics, we use all.
Speaking of mics,
all Heil Sound microphones.
Heil Sound microphones,
which is a local company in Fairview Heights.
Nice.
Anyways,
send me the link. I'll put it in the description later.
Oh, well, they're great.
Cool.
I've almost switched all totally over now. Halpin Music is the only local dealer for Heil mics.
There you go.
But they're actually, in backstory on that, just side note, their drum mics were actually developed on tour with Tool.
Oh, shit.
Just a little background on Heil in general. Like, they're originally out of Marissa. Bob Heil, he's the man who's responsible for concert sound as we know it.
Right.
Like The Dead, everybody came to him back in the 70s for sound, because he just made these walls of sound. He separated highs, mids, and lows before anybody else. Like, he had sub cabinets, mid cabinets, high cabinets.
Oh, shit.
He's the guy who invented the talk box for Peter Frampton.
Right.
Like, that's guy. And he's from right here in Illinois. He's just the coolest dude. He's got thousands of his stories. I've talked to him for like hours. And but his microphones are bar none better than everybody.
Anybody that can make a microphone to cover what Sammy does, because he's got so much stuff that's going on, and to make it clear and live, and everything like that. I mean, it's pretty incredible to hear the clarity and everything like that. And you have to have something that's when it takes you from the studio to the live gigs and everything, you have to have something that's going to throw you out there. Because a lot of people want you to sound like what you've recorded. You're not always going to do that and everything like that. We can come pretty close.
Oh,
I used to throw a shit fit whenever I was recording I'm Not Okay with Spirit of Chaos, because we don't play it live with 2 guitars, but there's multiple tracks of guitars on the whole album if you listen to it. It's just me and Jeremy. But Rob Wisenhunt did our recording for that, and he insisted that we did that. Jeremy thought it was a great idea, so I'm not going to jump in there and be like, oh, fuck that, But yeah, it threw me, like, for a long time. I used to be mad because that recording was the way it was on the entire CD, and it was like later on I listened to it now, and I'm like, well, shit, it doesn't sound that bad together. So
it thickens it up.
Yeah, it does thicken it up, but I wasn't a fan for dubbing where there's not a position being filled.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to have 2 guitars, find somebody that plays guitar then. Is the way I looked at it. But still, nonetheless, it does what it needs to do for the artist. So I've changed my thought process on several different things when it comes to the way I started doing this compared to today. But
we take our recorded sound live. I mean, we use the same mic. We use the studio mics live. That's what we use.
We do have an issue like that with some turtle ass whistles. But,
Yeah, the
Yeah.
turtle ass whistle part. We do a pretty good substitute though.
Right.
Yes, we play
Right.
turtle ass whistles.
The,
Turtle ass whistle.
I see you
the
not.
ass of the turtle.
Yeah, it looks like a turtle and you're blown into its ass.
turtle ass whistle. Oh, when we say that Sammy is like an iconoclast when it comes to Sonic Fury, we're not fucking around here. This
Right
guy
on.
does shit like you wouldn't believe.
Hell
The
yeah.
death whistle for some songs we got going on. Oh my god, that's scary the first time you hear
Yeah.
that go off.
I ordered it's an Aztec death whistle, and like I ordered a 3D like copy of one of those son of a bitches because I wanted Sammy to have it. And
Right.
Sammy, like he gets it like the very first time he gets anything, he'll sit there and he might like do something once or twice, and then the next thing you know, it's totally incorporated into a song as part of what's going on.
Right.
He did that. I gave him this my mom gave me this thing, and they were out in Arizona, I believe, and there was a Navajo Indian made this like little turtle whistle, turtle ass whistle. And I gave it to Sammy, and I was like, "Now I've never learned how to play that. Okay, I've had this son of a bitch since like I was, probably about 17 years old,
Right.
and like 300 years. Anyway." Sammy grabs a hold of the son of a bitch and starts playing that like song from The Good, Bad, and the Ugly,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like, "You son of a bitch! I've been trying to play that fucking thing since I was a kid." And he's just like, and then doing all kinds of stuff on it, and you're just like, "That's crazy!" And it's all picked up through Heil microphones.
I'm gonna have a lot of sound bites I can use after this for commercials.
Yeah.
Please pause for this chronic break. Oh yeah.
I think part of any scene also like covers, should cover different things, and like photographers and like people that are writers and everything. And that's what I think has really, really been cool about a lot of the people that I've met, like the whole time I've been a musician and everything.
Right.
You meet other bands, from other places,
Oh yeah.
thing like that. But you meet a lot of people that are local that you never knew before that you're just really, really totally overwhelmed by,
Right.
like just to name a couple. We keep bringing up Angela. She's like
Oh yeah.
my little baby sister, but I don't need to protect her from anybody because she'll kick your fucking ass. She's
Yes,
like
she will.
She is like
I've
evil,
seen her training
evil
videos
mean.
and her shit on Instagram.
mean, and she is eaten alive with it. And you'll be driving down the road and she'll run your ass over. She's that mean. And then she'll go and
She's so angry.
I really want to see her whoop somebody just for fun.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
do
yeah.
too.
Just a roundhouse out of nowhere.
I
Like,
told her-
whoa.
We gave her like she got a
Told you
broken.
not to talk about her cat.
Yeah, don't fuck with that shit. She had like a broken circle like shirt on, and she took a picture. A very nice picture, by the way, I might add.
Available in our shop.
And I said, like now, you need to like wear that shirt when you're kicking somebody's ass.
Yeah.
Well, she like comes up and she's like she's got a picture of after she's like got done kicking people's asses while she's been doing jujitsu.
Right.
In her shirt, she's all sweaty and everything like that. But like, you got like people like her. You got the Roman
Right.
homeboys. They're all very, very good in what they do. Like musicians, why they jump around and everything. Brian Alvis used to be in Golgata. He's like really, really a good writer. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He does a lot of spoken word stuff. His
Yeah.
wife, girl Robbie does like the pictures and stuff
Hell
like
of a photographer. Hell of a
Yes,
photographer.
yes. And just like you run into all these people and you feel like such a a sense of camaraderie and everything.
Oh yeah.
And it really makes you hurt that like more people aren't able to know who they are and get out there and do anything. You know,
Right.
That's why I really do like when I was talking about the cuss thing earlier about being on the verge of something. I do think that once this is all over with, that there's going to be a pretty big resurgence of music and everything like that. Because people,
I hope.
you don't see a lot of like kids. You know, I remember when I was younger, you don't see a lot of kids that want to learn how to play guitar now.
Oh, I can't even tell you
And
how many you don't see.
You know, crickets
In my
chirping.
store.
Yeah.
Though Scale
Well, I
Music
do
Academy
know-
is helping with that.
Well, I've heard about. I hadn't heard about Scale until I was going through. I was getting some notes down this week, going through you guys' Facebook because that's the easiest way to dig. And I was going through it and I'd seen the live. I'd watched it when it happened, like as I remember. Robin watched it, I guess, because I remember you guys tagging her in that. And then I had watched like maybe 10 minutes of it, but I had some crazy shit going on with the kids here. So I had to kick off of it, and then one of them stole my phone, so that was the end of that night. By the time I found it, it was dead. So I was like, okay.
Right.
And, like me and Neil had some communicational issues getting this interview started, trying to get because we couldn't figure out why. I'm like sending invites and it's not going. I'm like, this thing's pissing me the hell off. So I had found out that my children had once again, and people get mad at me because they think I'm like, well, fuck them, and I don't want to talk to them no more. No, my kids get a hold of my shit. Next thing I know, my daughter is like taking half of my friends list and moved it to Nevada. So I'm going to find these people and put them all back on my Facebook. So now I've had to the 3 different times I've had this happen now. But
Nice. Yeah, I was like, I
I
know
was
we're
digging-
friends. Why aren't we friends anymore?
I'll make you on Facebook. How you doing, Neil?
Oh my God. You know, that's one of the craziest things that people have embraced is like, well,
Oh,
I'm going to unfriend that. And what's really bad is
And then
an
they think they're not
imaginary
ever going
thing
to see him
anyway.
again.
Yeah. And you run into them, you're glaring at them in the fucking stores. Like, you know, I've been posting pictures of my grandkids, and you haven't liked one of them,
Well,
you
yes.
motherfucker. I'm going to go home, and I'm going to fucking unfriend your ass.
Right,
you know?
senior citizen Facebook wars.
Oh, no shit. It really weirds me out. And, like, people like, you know, like,
Real
well,
life, motherfucker.
yeah. Yeah,
Like
I
I
think
say, I was digging through you guys' Facebook. When I was digging through you guys' Facebook, I seen the therapist for what you guys do. I loved that. That tickled the piss out of me when I first seen it. And I seen that today, actually, right as I was making the end of my notes on there.
I think where that basically comes from is like kind of like when, and I stole this completely from Killing Joke because I love this quote. But the guy that sings for Killing Joke, like he was sitting there and he talked about when people come to see Killing Joke, when people come to see a Broken Circle, they come to see a ceremony. And I like that. I love the fact that like when you take one of our CDs and you put it on or you come and see us live, you're going to go someplace that
Right.
you've never been before. And you're going to be like, wow, you know, like, this isn't
It's going to
like,
start and end. And
Yeah.
take you on a journey in the middle. So
there'll be parts, there's just like songs that are coming up that people haven't really heard yet, you know, that like when you hear it, it'll almost tear you up. It'll give you chills. And then it does to me, like we've got a song called Fall in the Ground that's like that.
oh, yeah.
Right.
And
It's a banjo song.
when we're all
Hell
singing and melding and everything like that. I remember when we were recording the vocal in the lives down there, and we were singing, and it was really weird. You know when you hit a tone as a band or a note as a band, and it melds together and it's perfect, and then all of a sudden it's just this tremendous, you know, power that goes through the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
That's in that song. When you hear that song, by the end of that sucker, you just like are like, wow. You know, like he said, cigarette after sex, there it is. It's like smoke cigarette.
And see, a
It's
lot
that
of us know
good.
that feeling. I think every musician knows that feeling too, because the moment that you're feeling it happen while you're playing it is the same time that the person listening to it is feeling that moment as well. It's
Right.
that your hair is on end. It's making it stand on the back of your neck. You get chills, whatever your vibe might be from it. Some people
Right.
just get a warmth from certain music. For me, it's the goosebump. Like I'll get goosebumps go all the way down me when I'm in the moment of playing something. I haven't found too many songs that make me that way when I'm listening to it, but there are probably 10 that when I'm listening to it, it just makes me go nuts.
Yeah.
For me, like as far as the local scene goes, I would have to say that Annihilate the Heroes Oracle album, track 2, where it goes from that melodical, it's almost like an interlude, but it goes from track 1 into
Coming
track
off that
2.
intro,
Yeah, and it goes into that instrumental and nothing, and then all of a sudden it's boom in your face back at you.
Right.
That is the greatest climb that I've seen in local music in probably the last 10 years.
Mhm.
And like Wasco Lowlives is another one. Like you guys got 2 or 3 different songs. Like Mandels is my favorite out of all of them that you guys play. And I remember when that song was probably in its birth, you know, and it takes you to a different place. With you guys, it's Reckless. For some reason, Reckless, and then the next songs after that end the album, like all of them go well together.
Mhm.
What I like about it right now is if I put it on loop, I don't realize, I don't know if it's just because I get too stoned, but I don't realize that I've listened to the song until I've heard Reckless. That I haven't listened to the whole album.
Right.
You know what I mean? When I hear the song Reckless, I'm like, oh shit, I'm like, okay, let's do this again.
If you buy the vinyl and play it backwards, there's a message on there that says, "Are you high right now?
If I play this backwards, and
Why are you playing this record backwards?"
By the way, the Broken Circle is a ceremony, but we are not responsible for any demons you may summon.
That's right. That's right. I like the like the analogy. I had a friend of mine that said, like when we come out and everything, it's kind of like you're going to a really crazy church,
Right.
and there's a really, really hellfire like person up there that's preaching and everything like that, and then the band starts kicking in and everything, and then by the time it's done, by the time the whole thing is done, you're just like, wow, you're almost sweating. I love that feeling when you go see like your favorite band or a band that you didn't even know before, and you go and you see them, and like by the time that show's over with, you're just like, woo, you know, like
excited and exhausted all at the same time.
let's go
Right.
to Denny's, you know.
See,
No,
it's so
like-
Illinois when you're done with
That
the
is-
concert and you're
Right.
in the bar all night. Crave eggs.
Right.
Must have something.
Moon's over my hammy motherfucker.
Yeah, some biscuits and fucking gravy. Like you want some fucking food when you get done with that. The
Right.
best place to go is
Right.
Denny's.
You know, I think we take extra care too when we put songs on the albums and put set lists together. I think we spend more time thinking about how we want to present than any band I've ever been in. Like a lot of thought goes into the beginning and ending and where we go in the middle of
Right.
every set we play. Like we really like think about it, and I mean, everything we write, we think about it, and you know, like the way we put it together, and you know, okay, now let's try it this way, and you know, we really, I think, go the extra mile to make an experience more than anything.
Right.
Right, and there's
We
a lot
wanna
of
make-
bands
we
that
wanna
are
make-
starting to do that now. Like I've seen a
Mhm.
lot of change in the last 2 years. I went through some things where my mom had passed, and I jumped out of music for a while, and that's when I ended the Metal in the Mountains show with the Granada Crossing, or the Granada Gogata show.
Right.
Was the last thing that I had done until recently, where I finally was able to get a niche on, you know, trying to jump into the new age version of Shooting the Shit with Baldy. But this is literally the first viral online interview that I have done, so I'm glad to have you fuckers on here.
All right.
First attempt at it. Everybody else has been in studio.
Right.
I think actually one of my first interviews was with Uncle Dave over the phone.
Yeah.
And we lost the audio, so we had to do the whole damn thing over again. I was very pissed about that. My computer crashed 2 weeks after we did it, and I lost everything. So I backed up everything but his, because his was still brought up on the screen. Like in here right now, there's a Mac behind this. This here is all being shot on a tablet, my iPad, and then my Mac behind it, and then a Windows PC in here that's got Windows 7 on it, along with the music, the stereo that Neil worked on. All that's in the back shot here. But whenever I first got started doing this, I never thought, you couldn't have told me that I'd be doing this.
Right.
You couldn't tell me that I would have been doing this when I first started playing music in this scene 10 years ago. So how long have all of you individually been in this scene in Southern Illinois? From Springfield down, have you done something musically, and how long?
I probably started I know I started when I was a kid. I started playing 30 years ago. Played my first shows when I was 15, but my first bands when I was 18 playing around here. And then kept going and moved around. But I mean, yeah, playing.
Because I think I met you due to Washco. I don't remember. I spoke a lot of fucking pot, but you might have to refresh my memory.
Well, I mean, before that, I was had a band called Seize the Day, which is largely a cover band. With Eva Potter was in it, and Ty Sean, and the Salem area people. That's where I first met people like Jonah. I didn't even realize it. Like Point of Violence and all those guys back in the day. I met all those guys way back in the day. Didn't even realize who they were later on in life.
Right.
And then I went down to Carbondale, and I ended up meeting a bunch of people I never even knew I knew. I think I actually played shows with Ross Lacey way back in the day in Carbondale and didn't know it.
Okay.
You know, we all came to the conclusion, like, holy shit, we knew you from way back then. And
yeah, that's been a punk scene for a while down there. In that area there, punk is really heavy. So
yeah, this is like, early 2000s. So I think, in other stuff I did down there, like I was in a Latino metal band. I sang for a Latino metal band down there.
Nice.
And, and end up meeting them later. And, it's just kind of crazy coming back around. And, I'm just emo band. Then now, then Washco changed everything for me again. So, and now this stuff. And I'll play with anybody. So, like, I'm real good. I'll jump up at open mics. I don't know any cover songs, but I'll play them all.
And he'll do a good job of not playing.
I'll make you think I know it. I'll make you think I know it.
Real crazy.
The best part of being a performer.
We've all been around. Dave, where you been?
I started out, like, the very first time I ever played live was down at Carbondale. Like, it was actually in a band called Uncle Dave's Band. The whole thing called Uncle Dave came from a character that I made up. I had a friend that worked at a TV station, and after they would go off the air, we would film this show, and the host of the show was Uncle Dave, and I had like a little koala bear with me, and he was a smart ass, and he would just have to see it. And there's a DVD of it that I've got. I've got chops down to here. I've got my hair parted in the middle. No one would fucking recognize me. Okay. And then after that,
send me that picture. I'll put it in the see it.
For years and years, I didn't play at all, live or anything. Didn't go see shows, nothing. And then I was working at a factory in Salem, and Jonah and Rube from Groove Tang, they were working there, and I ended up going over there and practicing, and then Groove Tang came to pass. And then I told you about how Washco's an awesome band.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, like Broken Circle and everything, I came into that, and that's basically it. I started playing guitar again when I was 48 years old. I had stopped for a long time, and like I always used to say in the Groove Tang, I'm not a guitar player. I'm not a soothsayer, but you can bet your ass I'm a dragon slayer, baby. I stand by that. I can't play guitar worth a fuck. And like when like I got people that can't play, when I got people that can play, I'm like real excited about that. And that takes us back to Sammy.
Yeah, I had a couple solo albums where I did all the instruments. I did that first one at the start of 2009. It's a McGillis Schwall.
Which is actually how I met him the first time.
Yeah, Neil had
I had a battle for the studio down in Ashley for some studio time. I had a bunch of bands. First time I saw Washco.
Right on.
Who else was there? Damn it, they're all gone now.
Snaps.
I like Snaps. That was a cool band. What's that one band that's like Right Cross? They opened it. That one band that really think there's something. I don't know. They're gone now.
Hex.
Oh yeah, the Hacks were there too. That was cool.
The Hacks. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, they're from out around Carbondale, I believe.
Okay.
We have
Yeah.
one band. I think they're in California now. I can't remember the name, but doesn't matter.
Really?
Continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I just did a little solo thing there. But yeah, that's where I met Neil. Did a couple albums on my own. Still doing that. You know, they're not really going anywhere so far, but getting getting around and playing with people.
Right.
I'd like to have a cool band backing me up. You know, I'm kind of a band kid. I do a lot of composing. So
Right.
it'd be cool if I could get a thing where I could give each person their part. You know, so I'm just kind of
Right on. Right on.
So I just really more of a solo guy when it comes to my own music. So I have 2 or 3 albums of my own that are out on Bandcamp right now. It's Magilla.bandcamp.com. But other than that, this is definitely my biggest live thing that I've been involved in, which is
Right.
great.
Right on.
Me, next year would be the 20-year anniversary of the Smacks, which the Smacks was my psychobilly hardcore punk rock band.
Right on.
We did forever. My first show was when I was 15 too. We had to get a ride to the Creepy Crawl to play because I couldn't drive. And yeah, I've been playing ever since then. Me and Dave do some solo randomness every now and then.
Right on.
Anybody wants to hang out, make noises and yell at people. That's what I've been doing, and I've been doing it a long time.
Hey,
yeah.
what about Angela French music that you play with?
Well, yeah, I've been playing with Jason.
Yeah.
He was actually with them. How long were you before you?
It wasn't about a month before I came to the before they came to the Crossing open mic, and
Nice.
I just kind of approached Angela and said, "Do you want some percussion?" Because my friend Jason had been playing lead guitar for her rhythm guitar. I like doing music solo, but I never really like just going up there just with a guitar. I like to expand it when I can, and I figured
Right.
we kind of have the same mindset. So we got together a little 3-piece, and now it's a 4-piece with Ryan Adams on bass. So.
Yeah, right before he joined, I can't think of his name. I think it was Jason Burt. Yeah, he had come up to me and asked me if I still played, and I was like completely sideways that he had asked me first off, and then secondly, I was just like, no, I don't play anymore. My shoulder's fucked up. And that was before we decided to do the show with at Mountain Mayhem, both Spirit of Chaos. My shoulder, like I built a fence here and something has been pissed off, so I get this spot back here in my neck if I carry anything. Like if I pick up a hammer the wrong way, this motherfucker fires. So I've tried to hold my bass a couple of times, and I cannot fuck with that. I'm gonna have to have a lighter bass or a fucking a stand for it if I was to play with it, or sit down with it with like I am right now. But I've done what I've wanted to do with that as far as playing music goes. I love listening to everybody jam out as much as they can now. So I'm with Dave on the fact that I think there's going to be a bit of a tiny little revolution when it comes to like all these bars finally being able to come back. I think we're going to see a lot of new bars in the next 5 years fire up hardcore because so many have left and things will finally start to fizzle back down.
Right.
2020 to 2021, and then you add COVID to politics, and it's just been a shit fucking year.
I think like I've been around long enough too to see how like music will starve off, in this area, and then it comes back.
Oh yeah, we come in waves.
You just gotta wait for it to come back.
Around here, there's a wave that my band noticed, and we tried to stick by it as hard as possible. And it was literally that during the summer, we all get out and do our thing, and then during the winter, it's band camp.
Mm-hmm.
During the winter, it's usually everybody doesn't go back out again because it is a bitch trying to get people to come out to shows when it's 12 outside and it's snowed. You never know what the fuck the weather's going to do. Storm systems take longer during the summer to actually accumulate where you can watch them come in as they do in the winter. Winter, it's bam, it's dropped, it's hit, here it is. It's going to snow 2 states over and hit us. You might get a day warning before you know it's going to hit.
Right.
But we always went into writing mode in the winters, and then we would worry about playing live in the summers. And a lot of these bars are doing that now. I've been around a lot of them in the last like 3 months, jumping here and there and trying to just see what everybody's doing. And there ain't shit going on, obviously, but they don't want anything that isn't loud. They don't want loud inside anymore. Like that's like a lot of the problem that is around Southern Illinois that people don't know about, and specifically our areas right now, is the bars don't understand how much music is around. The bars do not understand how much music is around.
Exactly.
And if they did, they would go, oh, okay, these guys obviously have been around long enough. And if they did a little research, it takes 5 minutes to look at a Facebook and go, okay, they've got more than 7 months worth of fucking posts on here. They've been doing this a while. They've got some shit.
Mm-hmm.
They've obviously got a fan base. There's 400 people that can account for that or whoever. You know, every band's got a different amount of followers on our Facebook. It's not hard to look at that and go, okay, they'll bring at least a third of that. If you promote it for 3 months.
Right.
Book during the winter for your summer in this area. Record during the winter. Get everything ready to go, and then get back out there every summer. Is the way we tried to do it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But you've got places that, like you guys, have an ability to play where Spirit of Chaos would not in certain bars.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? That different genre, different volume, way different way of sounding. You guys are.
We can build a set for every occasion, man.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what we like.
You know what I mean?
That's what we like to do. You know, like we identify with your metalheads. We identify with punks. We could do country western if we wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, like there is so much talent in this area that I would love to see like shows. You know, I would like to see rap shows come back.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see, you know, comedy coming back. You know, comedy. Tim Loss does a lot of comedy spotlights and stuff like that.
Speaking of which, January 22nd, he has a show coming.
January 22nd, where at? The Orphan Smokehouse? At the Orphan Smokehouse?
And see, around here,
January 22nd.
And see, that's what I was getting at earlier when I was talking about how the comedy scene, the rap scene, the just regular music, metal, rap, rock, ska, whatever the hell you got down here, plus the comedy, right there you've got a show.
Yeah.
3 different bands for 3 different genres and put Tim Loss every week. Find a place to do it. Right there you've got a thing that everybody can come out and enjoy.
Right.
You know, they for some reason rap and metal still have that stigma. Where your music being on the side of more like what is it, rockabilly? I believe is an appropriate term you can say.
We're calling it Graveyard Americana.
I like that.
But it's got a lot of funk, soul, metal, punk, jazz to it.
Right on.
A lot of blues.
Yeah, where can everybody find you guys' music at? Where are you guys located?
You can look anywhere and find our music if you really want to look. You can ask Alexa to find our music if you want.
There are a couple other broken circles.
There are.
Yeah.
When we took the name, me and Neil, like we're talking about naming this little creation and everything like that. There was not one broken circle anywhere.
Like that year, like 3 came out.
So we're like, oh, that's great, and then like. Boom.
But we have the most content so far.
Yes.
Copyright, my friends. Copyright.
Yeah.
But you can find us anywhere you want to stream music at. Whether you want to look at YouTube.
All you have to do is mail yourself a CD, and it's copyrighted by technicality. Then you can go and have it done legally.
But anywhere you want to, whatever your favorite source, whatever you stream at, whatever your thing you want to do, Spotify, Pandora, Napster, Apple, Google, Amazon, whatever your flavor is, we're there. We put it up on everything, YouTube, and then you can contact us, get CDs, man. We make CDs because people tell us they want CDs.
Right.
We thought hardcore and did some polls and stuff like, you know, should we bother to print a CD? You know,
right? Because it is a world where, hey, I like that song, I'm going to buy that song.
Yeah, and I don't do that. I'm an album guy. Even if I'm downloading the album, but like,
because I want a vinyl. I'll tell you that right now. Anything you got vinyl, hit me up. I will send.
I'll send you the link again. but like, you know, so like, all right, you know, overwhelmingly people are like, we want CDs. We want CDs. So when we made the first CD, obviously it was a 2-disc CD thing. So I mean, it costs us twice as much to make, and we have a crap ton of them left.
Right.
And this new one, we only did 50 copies of it, but still, it gets expensive to even make.
Right.
You know, so. But we do need to sell a few. because we got, like I said, we got a whole nother album ready to print. We're just working on artwork yet, and that album will pretty well be done.
Yeah, because I have this.
Yeah, that is. We haven't even mentioned that one. That is our EP.
Yeah,
we did
this, and then I bought your Redux. I just bought it digitally.
Nice. Now that EP, there's only 2 copies of that left.
Right.
And again, we weren't going to release that one either. That was just going to be a SoundCloud one. It's not on streaming stores. It's just on SoundCloud right now.
Right on.
And that's, I think it's got at least 1 or 2 tracks that's going to be on the next album.
Yeah.
Right on.
So, yeah. So you're one of the few people that got that one.
Actually, I was getting ready to get a hold of you guys at Mountain Mayhem. And when I could not get a hold of you, but Mark ended up here at the party, the after party I do every year. And he ended up leaving one for me. And I was like, thank you, because I've been trying to get my hands on this for a hot minute. So I just found that. I just literally got my house cleaned up from the holidays and found it sitting on top of my refrigerator. But looking everywhere for it since like August. So that's another thing that people don't know about. We literally had a metal show. There was 9 bands. Because I think one dropped off, I think.
Something like that,
from Mountain Mayhem or something like that. And the show that Brian Bernard, a.k.a. Chop, and Clarence Kellerman both do every year ever since that I've dropped away from doing Metal in the Mountains, they brought up Mountain Mayhem. And they literally took it from what it was at the Crossing when it started and did a really good deal with it. But I ended up with that because of the show that the party that I was doing. So I was grateful that got left here. So when you guys put the new album out, I was like, now I have to buy one. Okay,
that's one of 20 copies that exists. So
yeah, that's all we actually printed up.
Nice.
We can throw a link up on here too, though, of it's on SoundCloud, I think.
Right.
You can stream that one.
Right. And there's an extra song on there.
Sammy, you have to leave.
It's not gonna do.
Good
He's
seeing
gotta
you, brother.
go.
No,
Yeah,
get to
you're
work.
good.
He's got an erotic male dancing career to watch out for.
It's a living.
It's a living. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Be careful, Sammy.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
got one of those
that
stupid jobs.
guy.
Yeah, I just recently left mine. I was able to finally get done. I had some things that had to be finished. We had some repairs in the house that hit, so I picked up my job again. And finally, all right. And that's all I got, guys. I appreciate it. I love you guys. Stay safe. Stay well.
All right, man.
Wait a minute. How much do you love us?
Do you need some? Do you need some love there? Dave?
Well, I'll tell you what. I've got really, really ugly feet now because I've had toe amputations.
Oh, God.
I need a foot massage. I just need a foot massage.
Hey, I told you I want that.
Uh-huh.
What's the deal with the vinyl? Like I've tried to order it twice on that link you sent me, and it acts crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it wants to I think it's because I'm doing it on an Apple device. I may try it on an actual PC.
I did it on my phone
Nice.
twice. Yeah.
That's nice.
Oh, no, and it'll have you pay with PayPal, which actually pays directly to me. Then I got to pay them to make it
Yeah.
for that. But it's cool.
That's what I was going to ask you is who you go through for your vinyls and who do you go through for your merch?
The vinyl is for a website called.
We should have plugged in.
I still
Kunani?
can. We're still going.
The website is Kunani. Actually, Sons of Cain introduced me to that.
Okay, I got one of their vinyls.
But that,
That's awesome.
it does one at a time for you, so you can actually afford to do it. I mean, it'll cost you $40 to get done, and it actually costs us a couple bucks on top of that in fees.
Right.
So it costs us to sell them to you, but I'd rather sell them to you because they're cool, you know. Our CDs, this last batch was done with CD Baby. Did it all with them this time. And we do all of our uploads with CD Baby. Previously, we used Easy Disc, and I did that for Washco, and I did that for the last Broken Circle album.
Right.
But they really screwed us over on the last album, like that 2-disc we got in days before it finally came in, and before the CD release, and they were all fucked up. I opened one, checked it out, I'm like, 2 of the same disc. What the fuck? Because one was Venom, one was Treacle, and I had to go through them, started opening them up, and they're all fucked up. But then some of the discs weren't even labeled right. So I had tried them out and looked down because the disc had different size content on it. So then I had to go through every single disc. And that was like 400 discs. Sit there and go through and discover half of them had ink wrong on the wrong discs. And some of them had like 2 labeled ones. So I had to go through every single disc, sort them all.
Were these purchased during COVID?
No, way. It's pre-COVID, way COVID. So like, you know, then I had to, okay, here's a pile of disc 1 that's correct. Here's a pile of disc 2 that's correct. Here's 2 piles of totally mislabeled bullshit. So like,
what did they do when you? What did they add up to what they had labeled when you put them in the computer? Because you know you can read.
Yeah, it all added up, but they're all, you know, they're printed wrong.
Mismanaged, yeah.
Yeah, so like, and stuffed wrong. So like, I had to restuff what I had and force them, like, customer service sucks so bad. It took until that very last CD release day to get them back.
Oh, damn.
To get new ones back. So then, you know, none of them were shrink wrapped. I had to restuff all of them and do all that. And then we stuck CDs or stickers in them all.
But if you want one of those rare CDs that are wrong, we'll sell you one for $1 million.
I do have a stack of falsely labeled albums. So, but all of our merch.
We'll send you one disc for $1,000, but we'll sell you them both.
Here's one
It's a very rare
that
opportunity.
we introduced.
Yeah, I like that.
Mountain Mayhem, the Broken Circle masks. Of course, it lines up with all of our other stuff,
Right.
and it just, you know, works cool. We got the shirts, we got those done, and this done, and all of our stickers have been done with Hug's Signs and Designs, which is Kale Hug. He also does all the Watchco stuff.
Yeah.
He's cool. He's a musician. He trades with us. Not
That's
sure
Chris
what he's up
Huggs.
to at the moment.
That's Chris Huggs' brother, isn't it? Or
Yeah, Chris Hug's little brother.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah. I know Chris.
So he does all of our printing for us and all of our stickers, and he's just cool. And we've worked out a lot of trade deals with him. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah,
Right on.
I've traded him basses and drum sets and all kinds of stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'll give you so many shirts. I'm like, cool. he did our banner for us too. Like I said, we got, I think, 4 different stickers out.
Nice.
He's done all those, and he's just a real cool dude. And didn't mind hooking us up. So.
Right on.
The first album, we sold off crap. Dave sold some guitars, I sold some stuff, pedals, whatever we could to fund the first album, just throwing money at it. But we've, unlike other bands I've had, managed to keep the bank. So this one just put out with what I had sitting there, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, we take our money in and we try not to give away too much stuff, and save the money. So. We got about half of what we need to put out the next album. We need to sell a few copies of what we just put out. We didn't really expect to put that out, so we weren't really prepared for it. But I need to make a few bucks back to be able to put it out without putting it out of our pockets, which is not the biggest issue in the world. But like, it's nice not to hit the family bank account.
Right.
Yeah, I just started my second one up for doing this now because I plan to make some money out of this as best I can, because if I'm going to be home, like my situation's great here, but I like to go to the shows. When this all starts back up again, I want to have my own fund. That basically, if I can get paid from Patreon, then people get some stuff back from me on that, and then I can take that money and put it in my gas tank. I'm to go and buy you guys. So it's like you guys are showing the stuff that I'm doing, and then I turn around and get paid for that, and then turn around and come buy your CD. How much better does that get? I appreciate the time, guys. I know everybody's busy, and COVID's been a bitch. So you guys definitely stay safe, and let me know if you guys got anything going on.
All right.
Right on, man.
Talk to you, sir. Thanks.
Later.